And good morning, Hoosier Nation, and welcome to another aggravating, disappointing, why did we get back into this feelings edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Iowa. Last night in the late game, your Indiana Hoosiers go on to get blown out at Iowa, 85-60, taking the record to 13-4 on the season, 4-2 in the Big Ten, with a schedule looking ahead that does not bode well for confidence builders. IU and the metrics lined out to lose the next 9. That obviously doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but that shows how tough these games we have moving forward. So we've entered that fun, tough stretch. So buckle up, folks. Here we go. This game really was a 10 steps back for IU. The cold start shooting coupled with the 7 quick turnovers in the first 6 minutes of the game put IU down by double digits. A little small run in the middle of the half led by Rice kind of cutting things up and everything really kind of put IU feeling a little better. I mean, I felt a little bit better at that point. I was like, okay, IU's getting locked in. We've got a little lead. This is going to be one of those games of runs where things are going to go up and down, but we're starting to lock in and find some things at that point. Things looked like we were settling, but they would finish the half on another Iowa run, getting them back up to double digits on a 18-5 run to finish the half. Kind of hoped going into halftime. I was still relatively there thinking, all right, we've had times. This is obviously 3 runs in the first half. They had a run. We had a run. They had a run. Now we've shown that we can do this. We can come out of halftime. We can be locked in. We can hit a few baskets, get things going in the second half, right this ship, get that momentum going. That was not the case, obviously. Second half, they surged again, and I just would continue to have breakdowns on D and appear to have no one locked in, leading to the score that you saw in this game. Really a tough one for IU to drop and to drop away from home like this. Thank you for being here with me. I'm your host, Chad Schwarzkopf. Martha off for the morning, shaping the minds of the next generation of Indiana basketball players caught up in that rec league world, hopefully teaching them the right things, the right fundamentals, how to fight and execute. Because really, to me, that's where this team is failing. Just the execution and fundamentals was so much cleaner on Iowa's side. This was such a perfect contrasting game to really show how much IU lacks in those departments. You could see how easily Iowa was able to move the ball on offense, and how much of a struggle that was for IU, just lacking to the fire to make up for that in any way, compared to IU running great sets, getting shots for guys, and where they can excel. IU continues to have those nights and that game plan, that NBA game plan of just go out and get baskets, just go out and beat your matchup. Sure, IU runs a few pin down screens or loop arounds that you see McKenzie get to, but once those things get blown up, then it's just kind of, all right, someone get a basket, or times where sets aren't called. It just, you see quick shots, ill-advised long twos from certain players. And there's just such a lack of accountability, I think. That's where you can kind of narrow it down on this team. And just a lack of culture and identity as well. You can take all of those. I'll point out that bad pass in the first half that led to kind of a run out where Goody was chasing his man that was marking him down the court on the other side of the line. And I think Goody in that moment, because it was going to be an over and back if Goody touched it first, I think he was dribbling it out, trying to hope that his guy would kind of touch it and get it from him while he was kind of step in step with him, which led the ball to dribble all the way to the other out of bounce line. And when Iowa's player eventually corralled the ball, he turned to look to see who he could pass it to. And really, it kind of shows where this team's head is and has been this year. He turns around, the Iowa player, and there's 2 Iowa players. They're running down the court, and he's able to pass it and get a layup. Zero Indiana players running back to help Goody or to track their men that were running back as well. And that wasn't when the game was decided. That was still when IU should have been battling in this game. So where is that? Where is that coming from? Why is that? That's the biggest frustration. And it leads us to be able to jump to any and all conclusions that we want to assign that. Is that a lack of motivation from the players themselves? Is that bleed down from the coaching staff? Is that them not holding guys accountable in those situations? That is certainly a way that you can attack that situation and try to right that ship from a coaching staff standpoint, is to call for more accountability, to, as Woodson's idol would do, the man on my hat throwing a chair, which I feel like I want to throw a chair right now. What he would preach, the bench is the biggest motivator. I don't know if he's trying to do that and it's just not getting through, but something is not getting through to these guys. There is a lack of culture from too many players. There are some that are, and I mean, I will say, speaking of bright spots and everything throughout it, Leal was fighting in this game. I will always give it to Leal. He was the top in this team in this game in plus minus. Again, flawed stat, blah, blah, blah. But in these types of games, it really can tell you some things. He was +8, the highest positive on the team. He made a 3, had a great shot that he took when he was wide open, and had 5 assists, had some great assists in this game. But continues to be that player that you can see out there fighting and locked in on both sides of the court. Goody continues, I think, to try to be that guy as well, albeit Goody with the worst plus minus, the opposite, on a minus 36. And I think in that sense, Goody was just getting caught up in the bad rotations, trying to make up for some players that were getting beat. And part of the scheme of helping too much, Iowa likes to run the skip pass. They were able to take advantage of that from IU in this game. But Goody just getting 3 points on 1 for 6 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. So they just weren't going down for him in this game. But I still think from the eye test that he was at least fighting in this game. Rice, I guess, let's finish at least the positive ones that I will say in this game. Rice had that great stretch in the first half that helped IU get staying in this game. But I think in the second half, shots just weren't going down for him. And it was just kind of one of those cases as well. I think I forget which game it was, but there's been other games where Rice is getting going and getting things firing, and there's just no one else to follow along with him that's able to get their offense going. But Rice finishes with 12 points, top of the team, on 4 for 11 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 for 4 from the charity stripe, 3 turnovers, 1 rebound, 5 assists. So a decent enough stat line if you just look at his stat line in general. But that's a stat line where you need to see contributions from everyone else around him. And those just weren't there in this game. I think another one, just to kind of finish ones that I will speak positively in this game, I think Tucker battled in this game as well. Tucker was +3, the only other Indiana player in the positives and plus minus, with 9 points, 4 for 11 shooting, 0 for 1 from 3, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, with 0 turnovers, also 0 assists, but 4 rebounds for him. So again, a decent stat line from a bench player and a freshman. So something that you want to contribute from him. And I felt like he looked like he hustled and wasn't engaged for most of the game. So I don't have as much qualms with him going forward. Now, the rest of the bench, or the rest of the roster, is where the struggles were. I think Ballo showed his fatigue. I think we kind of knew this was going to happen. I think Iowa game planned against him well. They saw something in the tape, obviously, where anytime you put it on the ground, they were there on his second bounce to disrupt that. Or even so, maybe they saw something where when he does receive the ball, he holds it a little too far away from his body or something, I think, because you could see them come up to him right away. And that was those quick turnovers when they were able to knock it out of his hands. So they game planned against him and disrupted him. And that caused him to be a little off kilter, at least to start the game. And then couple that with Iowa's big man likes to get out and run. Very TJD of him, where he is fast and gets down the court. And he beat Ballo down the court a couple times and led to Ballo after this 4 or 5 game stretch where he's had to shoulder so many minutes, get him running a lot. That's why I think we saw Hatton as much. He needed those breaks, but still had 10 points on a pretty efficient night of 5 for 7 from the field, 13 rebounds, and 4 turnovers, kind of obviously where things lacked for him. But I think they definitely game planned against him, and we I would say, I would say maybe the coaching staff lacked to run good things for him, to get him more space, get him in the pick and roll a little bit more. They did a little bit, but they could have gone to it some more. Just really wanted the coaching staff to see them take over this game and call more plays for the team. It felt like they were abandoned almost out there on the court at some points in this game. The other player that continues to, this is kind of second game in a row where we've kind of had a disappearing Trey Galloway. Just laid a complete egg in this one, 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, just 1 assist in this game and 4 turnovers. There were many possessions in the second half where I felt like he was almost hiding on the court. There were possessions where Rice was out, and I expected to see Galloway be the man coming up with the ball and trying to get downhill, get into the paint, and he was having Carlisle take it up, and he was just hiding in the corner on the wing. So, not sure what's going on there. Don't know if he's battling some sickness or something, but it's just, those are the things that aggravate me. And I know aggravate you as Indiana fans. That's that lack of lock-in. And I don't know. It's weird. If IU was a business, and technically in this era, it is. It's a failing business. The amount of dollars and investments that are spent on this, dollars and obviously coaching staff and players, NIL. We went out and bought a lot of talent to get things going. And the investments as well is us, Hoosier Nation. I would call us the investments, and we're investments that are always there. We're there. We travel at a lot of these games, and the investment in dollars that are being put into this team is just way overshadowing the product being put out. Now, I'm not saying it's doom and gloom for this season, because there's still so much moving forward, but this has happened way too often. I mean, you can look at Zach Osterman put a great tweet out. I don't have it in front of me, so I won't quote it right now, but talking about all of IU's losses under Woody, 30 plus losses, and so many of them, a good majority of them, have been by double digits. So many of these road games, IU just lays an egg. I mean, there's one thing, but again, I will always qualify that the biggest qualm we should have, and we do have, and I have with this game, is not necessarily about IU losing, because IU losing on the road, losing in the Big Ten happens. It's a thing. It's not all about that. It's about how you lose and how IU continues to lose in these games, just dropping them big. And it's frustrating. It's not fun to get on and have to try to talk about this because you just want to see the team turn a corner. You just want to see the team get over a hump. I haven't listened to Woody's comments, but did he talk about humps? I don't know. You can tell me in the chat if you heard any things like that. But I struggle to see where things can go in the positive with this team when we continue to see these types of patterns. Sure, we can have games. We're going to have games moving forward this season where our talent and everything is going to be able to connect and click on a good way, and we're going to win some good games. But you want to have a team that's going to be able to battle through these bad ones and at least come from it not talking doom and gloom like this, but saying, well, shoot, we fought hard. We did our best, but tip the cap to Iowa. They pulled it out. That was a close one. Oh, it's so frustrating. We lost such a close game. That's one thing. That's one thing. I'll take those losses each time because you just feel like it was so close in fighting, as opposed to these where you're just completely defeated, and it just looks like it's puzzling. Again, yeah, it's just completely puzzling. Now, trying to look at some stats in this game. 3-point shooting took a large step back, 4 for 16 in this game, 25%. A lot of guys just cold that normally would shooting. McKenzie's continues to be pretty cold as well. Just had 6 points, was 0 for 3 from 3 for himself. Not sure what's going on with him. We really need to get him to wake up in this. That's puzzling as well. 31 rebounds. We got beat by Iowa on the glass in this one. Iowa's +6 in the rebound side. Some of those were unlucky bounces that happened, but just that's part of the lack of locked in. 16 turnovers, and so many of them coming early set a weird tone for IU. Allowed Iowa to get 11 steals. That little zone they were playing wreaked too much havoc on Indiana. Again, should not have been, though, because Iowa is a 200 level defensive team. They're not statistically in the past a good defensive team. And we played a much better defensive team in Penn State and had less issues than we did in this game. So that's confounding to me. Really bad points per possession in this game, 0.87. I don't 6 for 16 on layups in this one. It's definitely a hard one for me, guys. You know me, I always try to be at least the hopeful one. I at least try to look on the bright side. I guess the only bright side to say is that we've seen IU take good steps forward in this game, in this season, I should say. There's nothing to mean that they can't right a ship and continue to do well. Yes, there is a tough section of the season coming up, and we're going to find out a lot about the team moving forward, how much they want to give up or not. We're going to find out about individual players, who's going to show up in these next couple of games going forward. IU's got a real tough one coming up in just two days. Illinois at home. Thank goodness they're at home. It's Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Students should be back. Hopefully everyone shows up and gives them that great boost of juice that Assembly Hall can give. It's going to be a tough one for IU to win. And we've got to see them answer. We've got to see at least a fight, at least guys locked in, and see what this coaching staff can do for these guys. what they can do to get them motivated, and how they can adjust when situations like this are going like this moving forward. I mean, I could sit here forever and try to analyze the bad, to try to milk whatever positive I can out of this game, but like you, I'm frustrated. And as always, I will continue to try to tune in and stay positive and hopeful. But it's still continuing to be a difficult task to do. And I want to give this wonderful program, this historic program, I want nothing more than them to be able to find that surge, that fight, that gold mine that we hit on football side. And I pray that those in the higher ups, because that is where things are lacking right now. That is where things are failing to set in completely. That this trajectory for this team and this program is not looking great. And continued roster improvements, changes, have not changed the underlying issues that we see in games like this. These have been repeated way too often. And my plea to those that are being bullish and everything, you got to set that aside. There is one credit way in the past, because I know there's guys in IU's higher ups that have relationships with the staff members and things like that. And it can be tough. I know. I mean, we fought through that on the football side when we all saw as fans the offensive line being the struggles, and the coaching staff was tied into that because of personal feelings and relationships. And credit to Tom Allen, when things got tough enough and the criticism got loud enough, he made that change and that adjustment. And it can be painful to have to do those things. And we may have reached that point. And the higher ups and administrators need to see that now. Again, that's not to say that I'm not giving up on this team, and I'm not giving up on this season, and I'm not going to be one that's not going to tune in, because I'm going to tune in every time and be hopeful. I'm going to throw or have my daughter hide the remote so I can't turn the game off or turn away, and stay in and watch the whole game, and fight through it, and just hope, continue to hope and wish. And I'm sorry if that aggravates you. I'm sorry if that is not where you are, but that's where I will try to be. So that's where I'm going to end this one, because I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this. I'm not going to get you fired up. I'm not going to get myself fired up anymore. I choose now to be a goldfish and move on from this one and move forward. Like I said, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for suffering with me. Thank you for fighting with me. Thank you to those in the live chat. Thank you for those watching on Twitter, and those of you on the different platforms. If you are on those different platforms, please give me a good rating, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, that kind of stuff. Again, I do this all for the love of the game, for the love of the program. So I appreciate you being here with me, suffering with me, and we'll all get through it together and hope for greener skies on the end. Until then, go out there, have yourselves a wonderful day. And as always, let's go Hoosiers.